Okay, we are live. I am here with, I'm Dr. Cates. I'm here with Dr. Hyla Cass. She is one of our amazing experts for the Hormones, Health, and Harmony docu-series. Hyla is an integrative psychiatrist, and she is an expert in all to do with neurotransmitters and hormones and mood and a very integrative approach. So, Hyla, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, I know we covered a lot in the docu-series, and I think you're in pretty much every episode, because you have so much to share about how our neurotransmitters and how our hormones and how they all work together and helping our brain health, our mood, cognition, all of that. So great. So let's talk some about neurotransmitters. And I know people watching the docu-series, you've kind of heard a little bit of this already, but for any of you who are not signed up for the docu-series, make sure you do sign up. You can go to hormoneseries.com and register. We've got episode 7 is up right now. So episode 8 will go live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have episode 9. We're getting near the end here, so make sure you go ahead and register if you haven't already, or if you are registered, make sure you watch Resilience and Brilliance is the one for today. So, Hyla, what a perfect day for you to join us to talk about resilience and brilliance because it is such an important thing for us to have that as women, especially as we get older, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know we covered a little bit about hormones and neurotransmitters, but you tell everybody what the difference is between neurotransmitters and hormones and where there's kind of some overlap?
Yeah. They're both chemical messengers and they just work in different ways. The hormones work at a distance, and neurotransmitters are more local. And they we are amazing chemical physiological beings. We have mind, body, and spirit, but the chemistry is fascinating.
Mhm.
And our moods are determined by what's going on with our neurotransmitters. So if you're low in serotonin, you're going to be depressed and anxious. And rather than like in the past, it was just talk therapy, if we can enhance somebody's serotonin level, the anxiety and depression are actually cleared very quickly. And insomnia too. So they're quite miraculous when you give the body the right raw materials to make the neurotransmitters. It works. It works. It's like baking a cake, it's that simple. And, you try it a few times. And as a practitioner, I started doing it and it was like such a game changer. People don't have to sit and talk about things forever. Or what's even worse, I have to say worse because I have a judgment about it, is the medication situation. People are put on psych meds. And that's just such the wrong approach, because what you're doing is you're dampening some symptoms, but you're not making any real positive change. Whereas when you're giving neurotransmitter precursors, that is the ingredients that make up the neurotransmitter, like baking the cake, then you are actually supplying what is needed.
So we have Meekoff, dog.
We have dogs. I'm going to shut the door.
Okay, great. All of this is to let you know there are alternatives, which is the great news about all of this. And so when you talk about what we need for our neurotransmitters, can you explain what some of those things are?
Well, we want to use. Are you talking about other than amino acids, or
Yeah, no, the
we
amino
also need
acids. So explain
essential fatty acids, because our brain, each of the cells, each of our neurons is made largely of fat. We're basically fatheads, but that's a good thing. And we need to have enough fat in our diet, and we need to have cholesterol because our hormones are made from cholesterol. The fat from our brain cells comes from cholesterol. So it's all kind of upside down from what mainstream medicine has been teaching us.
Yeah.
So eat fats, eat protein for the amino acids. They break down into amino acids. So you get tyrosine that helps make dopamine, that helps you feel focused and happy and on purpose. If you're kind of nervous, can't sleep, irritable, you are likely low in GABA. GABA is the calming neurotransmitter. And so we can actually give GABA, because GABA is available as an amino acid. We can also give theanine, an amino acid, which is enhancing GABA. And by the way, when you're giving these amino acids, we also have to give the cofactors, the B vitamins and the minerals. And what I say is take a really good high potency multivitamin mineral, and you're going to have the cofactors in it. So you don't have to figure out every single little detail.
Thank you for that tip, because it can be complicated to try and figure
Oh,
out what are
please,
all.
I know, you should see what I'm taking like that. So I really feel sorry for people and try to keep things as compact as possible.
Right, right. And it doesn't have to be complicated, but it also there's more to things than just taking an antidepressant to help us with our mood. Um,
Oh, yeah, I have to add to this something so important, and that is women will go to their doctor, the gynecologist, even their family doctor, say they're having anxiety, PMS, menopausal symptoms. Immediately they're put on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. Like, what? These women are having hormonal imbalances. And here I am, a psychiatrist, and I'm looking at hormones. So we really need to address, why are the hormones out of balance? And if it's because of aging, with perimenopause, there's certain treatments we do. If it's PMS, often has to do with a not very good diet, too much sugar, too many carbs, not enough of the right foods. So a lot can be done nutritionally. So it's not a Prozac deficiency, you know. So I really emphasize that. I'm a board certified psychiatrist, and forever I have been, because I've been a psychiatrist a very long, over 40 years. I've been railing against the automatic use of the prescription pad for everything that sounds like mood. Like, okay, antidepressant. No, you go to the root cause, see what's missing, and treat at that level.
so, what is the problem with taking antidepressants?
Oh, let me count the ways. They have a lot of side effects, from lack of libido to they stop working after a while, and then so the doc will increase your prescription or add in another one with more side effects. You get tremors, problems with memory. I think I mentioned lack of libido. And the worst one is suicidal ideation, particularly in younger people that have never contemplated suicide. They may have been a little depressed, a little anxious, put on medication. Then they have these terrible suicidal urges. And I mean, I had a woman, a friend of mine told me this, that someone had put her, her doctor had put her on an SSRI, that's like the Zoloft, Celexa, Lexapro, Prozac class of drug. And what happened was she was hearing, it wasn't like voices exactly. So she wasn't psychotic, but she said she was feeling a tremendous urge, like that she had to kill herself. And she realized, she had the insight. This is the important thing. She had the insight to realize, this isn't me. This isn't right. And figured out that it had to do with the medication and stopped it. And the suicidal thoughts stopped. Very sadly, many cases end up in the death of a young person. And it's so unfortunate. There's a black box warning on some of them by law, that you have to warn the person if they start to feel suicidal to report that to the doctor and make an adjustment.
Yeah, yeah. And then with mood overall, someone might not even really be, diagnosed with depression, but they might be experiencing something like PMS. So, for women who are going through hormonal changes and they start to notice changes, how do women notice if is this is it a hormonal issue or is it a neurotransmitter issue? Is there a good way to know the difference?
It's everything, and diet as well. So really, you do some testing. If the individual is seeing a physician that, like us, who look really under the hood. But even so, you need to first of all clean up your diet and lifestyle. That's going to go a long, long way to fixing all of this. We're living very imbalanced lifestyles with a lot of pollution, environmental pollution, toxic food, not nutrient-rich food. So we start there. Whether it's hormonal, neurotransmitters, we start by eating the right foods, enough protein, good protein, fats, good carbohydrates in the form of veggies. So that by itself is going to go a long way toward dealing with the issue. We can add neurotransmitter precursors. And in terms of hormones, very often, in fact, I just got an email today from a patient who said, and she's nearly 50, and she said, I'm having a lot of problem just before my period. I'm so depressed and so irritable, and I don't want to take hormones. And what can you do for me? And I said, check out progesterone. I mean, I'm not her doctor. I have been, and she asks me for advice now and then. But I told her, I said, talk to your doctor about progesterone and really consider it seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so let's talk about some of the things that people can do with their diets. Like, what are some things that people can do with food to help with balancing our hormones and neurotransmitters as it relates to mood?
Well, basically, you need to not have simple carbs, sugar and white flour and all the usual things, bread, cake. Like, come on, that's just not food. And then a lot of people ran into trouble during the COVID era, being isolated and becoming kind of stuck on comfort food, which feels good in the moment but has very bad repercussions down the line. So eat organically, because there are enough toxins around that we're inhaling and we're exposed to, that it's important to eat organically whenever possible. And
Yeah.
it's possible if you really have set your mind to it. Drink clean water. Exercise. Exercise is so important, and it's great for balancing hormones and for balancing your mood.
Yeah.
So we have, all the good things that we're supposed to be doing. I'm probably reiterating what everybody else has said along the way.
Yeah. So for those of you who are just joining in, whether you're joining live or you're joining in later, Dr. Hyla Cass is one of our experts for the Hormones, Health, and Harmony docu-series that's going on right now. You guys can go to hormoneseries.com and register if you're not already. And if you are registered, check your email, because episode number 7 is live right now until 6 p.m. tonight. And then we'll have episode 8 up, and then episode 9 tomorrow night. That's our last of the episodes. So you could still catch the docu-series and experts like Dr. Hyla Cass, who dive into deep, and we talk about all the different ways that you can support your hormonal harmony and doing it naturally, and all the different supportive things. So what else do people need to know about some of the more integrative natural options available for helping us with our mood?
Well, it's interesting. In the past few years, I discovered CBD. Now, CBD is from the cannabis plant and is often confused with THC, which gets you high. Marijuana gets you high. And by the way, the marijuana that's bred now has been bred for the highest amount of THC and almost no CBD, and people actually get into trouble with that because it's out of balance. There actually is some therapeutic effect to THC, but that's not my area of expertise. My area is CBD, and CBD from the hemp plant has amazing abilities to alter your neurotransmitters and your hormones in a positive way. And how can that be? It also helps with digestion, helps with with memory, helps with pain, with sleep. And it sounds like a panacea. Oh, here comes CBD, and it's a panacea. It does everything. And, it's hard to believe. However, I'll explain. It interfaces with something called the endocannabinoid system. You don't have to spell it. So the endocannabinoid system is our very own inner system for connecting all of the different systems of the body, the brain, the gut, different hormones, circulatory system, the heart, the lungs, and so on. And it's a messenger system, and the whole job of this system is to de-stress us. So it's very protective. And it is throughout the whole body. There are lots of receptors in the brain, in all the organs, in the blood, and it regulates everything. It's a master regulator. And we didn't even know about it until the 90s, which is strange, but there you go. So by taking a phytocannabinoid, phyto means plant, so endocannabinoid is in our internal ones like anandamide and 2-AG. And the phytocannabinoids are things like CBD. And the CBD acts with the endocannabinoid system to raise it up. So many people have a low endocannabinoid system. How can you tell? Because we don't have a test for it. You want to know how to tell. If you have anxiety, depression, have trouble sleeping, pain sensitivity, migraines, any or all of these, you don't have to have all of them to qualify, hormonal imbalances, PMS, menopause. So what I'm really talking about is everything we see. And if you have a good number of those, or even some of them, it will respond. They'll respond to CBD quite remarkably, and often pretty quickly. I've had people in my office just like really jittery and anxious, and they could hardly talk. And I'd say, okay, would you like to try some CBD? Have you ever tried it? Oh, no, okay. You put some under their tongue, and within 5-10 minutes, that person is like, oh, feeling better. I'm feeling calmer. I remember now what this felt like. Wow. And I've seen this. And sometimes it takes a little more. Sometimes, throughout the session, I keep dripping it. And by the end of the session, they're like, oh, this is good. So this is something that you can get over the counter. You don't have to go to a dispensary. And you can try it out for yourself. You just start low and slow. And you gradually start with a few drops, and then half a dropper, a whole dropper, and you determine what your dose is. And it won't make you high. And you can get it with by definition, the CBD that is sold has to have less than 0.3% THC in it, which is very, very little, won't get you high. However, it can accumulate in the fat cells. So if you are subject to random drug testing, you want to be careful and not use with THC. You want to get the THC-free product.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Okay. And you make one now. You have a hemp product now that you sell.
Right. Because I was trying different ones, I wanted to actually have a nice flavor and a nice texture. So I actually formulated my own to have, it was particularly the way it was grown organically. So I got to choose that. I got to choose, how and where it was grown. I got to choose flavoring, which is nice organic lemon essential oil. So it's a nice lemony flavor. And instead of having that kind of grassy taste that CBD often has, and some people like it, I didn't. So I used MCT oil instead. And MCT oil is also good for the brain. And that's, of course, my focus as a psychiatrist. So it worked, and it turned out to be a really good product. You do your best, you choose the best, and then you put it out there and see what the results are. And people were reporting back, whoa, this works. I could fall asleep and stay asleep for the first time, or particularly if they take a capsule at the same time as the tincture, because the capsule starts to work a little later as it goes through the digestive system, but it lasts longer through the night, whereas the drops will come on right away. And then during the night, if you wake up, you can take a few more drops or a half a drop or whatever your particular dose is. And it's so individual. People ask me, well, what's the dose for pain? What's the dose for anxiety? It's not like that. And it's not even by weight or by age. It's just by trial and error, because your own system, your own endocannabinoid system is unique to you. And you need to titrate. But that's good. It's in your control. It's not like, here, take this one pill twice a day, and like with an antidepressant, it's prescribed the same for everyone, which isn't such a good idea. You titrate it, you get the result that you want, and it may not be the same all the time. And it really empowers you to treat yourself. You know yourself better than anyone else. And it works, as I said, on the neurotransmitters, it works on the hormones, works on your blood pressure, on pain levels. It's funny, you could be taking it for irritability and anxiety and notice that your knee pain clears up. So it's a really good all-round product that I love.
Yeah.
So thanks for mentioning it.
Yeah, and for those of you just joining in, we're talking about CBD and with Dr. Hyla Cass. Hyla, where can people go to buy the CBD that you have a hemp product?
Well, I like mine, and you can get it at drcass.com. That's drcass.com. And if you put in the code word when you check out, when you make a purchase, if you put in the code word Spa Doctor, SPADR 10.
Is it Spa Doctor 10 or the Spa Doctor 10? Oh, yeah. Let me edit that.
Spa Doctor 10. I thought I'd shorten it.
Perfect. Thank you. So I'm just putting that in the comments here. Okay, so that's for 10% off. So that's perfect. And so thank you for sharing that discount. And it's great that you were able to discover this. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that you didn't have this the 40 years that you've been a psychiatrist that you haven't had.
I know.
And that this is more of a recent discovery that we've all had.
I might also add, it's been very good for post-traumatic stress disorder, which is really difficult to treat.
Yeah.
So all of these things, people who have a low endocannabinoid system are more prone to have, in this research, they're more prone to have traumatic stress disorder. It's interesting, having a good level of endocannabinoids protects you against certain things like pain, like PTSD, like depression, like anxiety. So you can actually take it like a tonic to protect you. If you are prone to these things, you just take it all the time and it will do its job.
So how would someone know if they might have a genetic predisposition?
You don't. You just notice how you feel. And, sometimes it's a genetic predisposition. Sometimes it's due to a lot of stress. When you're stressed, you tend to use up your endocannabinoids. So you need to call for reinforcements. So this is what you're basically doing. You're calling in the reinforcements. And so when you take CBD, it actually prevents the breakdown of your existing endocannabinoids. So it works in tandem with it. It's also good for, I don't know if you've come across this, but I certainly have, people who smoke a lot of pot, or even if they've just smoked for the first time, and they have a reaction. Actually, it's Spa Doctor 10, not the Dr. Spa Doctor.
Okay, I'll fix that. Okay.
So when people have a reaction to THC, where they become highly anxious and irritable, and they may even become paranoid and end up in the emergency room. The best treatment for that excess of THC is a high dose of CBD, because what it does is it comes between the THC and the receptor site. So it separates it. So it actually peels, it's like it's peeling the THC off of the receptor and stops the reaction.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, that's fantastic. And then of course, having the healthy lifestyle in addition to having the CBD, of course, is going to be a big part of this, right? I mean, if someone is not taking their self, it's not like it's a magic bullet that's going to take care of everything if you're not doing the other stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You,
So
you
it's
need to do it all. There's no magic bullet, but it comes close. And I encourage the entire healthy lifestyle and have CBD on hand. Take your neurotransmitter precursors for specific deficiencies, which
Mhm.
I mentioned earlier, and also for your hormones. CBD is great at balancing hormones, great for PMS, menopausal symptoms. It just does it because the endocannabinoid system is intimately involved with your hormonal system.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, great. For those of you just joining us, I'm here with Dr. Hyla Cass. She's one of our experts for the Hormones, Health, and Harmony docu-series, which is airing right now for free. You can go register, sign up, get your spot at hormoneseries.com. We have episode 7 of the 9 episodes going live right now. And so make sure you go in and register and then check your email for your link to watch the docu-series for free. Each episode is up for 24 hours. We have 9 episodes. There are a few more left to catch. And then of course you can, if you want to take home the whole docu-series, you can buy it and have all 9 episodes plus a bunch of bonus content to help you get the most out of harmonizing your hormones naturally.
And it's
Thank,
you did an amazing job. I'm
thank you.
so proud to be in it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Hyla. You were so great to have you in it as well. And so anyway, thank you, Hyla, for joining me today. Everyone, Dr. Hyla Cass, go to her website, drcass.com. And if you're interested in the hemp product, the CBD, you can enter Spa Doctor 10 for 10% off the product. And so thanks again, Hyla, for joining me.
Oh, totally my pleasure. Okay. Have a great rest of your day.